everyone, my name is Janna Darling and welcome back to my channel. I am a best-selling romance novelist, so I'm kind of an expert on romance novels, especially the spicy ones. So today I'm going to take you through some of my favorite spicy romances, and they're not usually just the one book by the author. These are authors that excel in writing spicy stories. So if you like a little bit of heat with your romance and a wide open door, then buckle up because I'm going to show you all the best spice. So starting off, this woman is known for her spice, but she also has amazing poetic prose. This is not the first time I've talked about her. She's one of my favorite romance novelists, and that is Simone. If you have not picked up one of her books before, I definitely recommend starting with Priest. It is the first book in her, I actually don't know what the series is called or if it even is a series, but it's the first in a series of internet-connected standalones with heavy religious themes. Obviously, given that this is called Priest, you can imagine that it is about a priest. So basically, Tyler Bell is the first brother. It's about 3 brothers, the series, and he is, you guessed it, a priest, and he goes against his vows because of his attraction to Poppy, and what ensues is a very, very steamy book. They get it on in all of the places that you should not get it on as a priest, including in a church. So if you like that sort of thing and you are not offended by blasphemous sexual acts with a priest, I highly recommend this one. It's so spicy. The next 2 are just as spicy as well. Sinner is the book 2, which I've recommended before, and she is in training to become a nun. And then book 3 is about a monk, and it's an MM romance. And you know I love MM romances. I have a lot of vlogs about MM romances. So monk is actually, or pardon me, Saint has been on one of those vlogs as well. Okay, Simone also has a series called New Camelot, which is absolutely amazing. It's MMF, and it's also like 5 out of 5 chili pepper spice level. Okay, next up we have someone that I'm sure you guys have heard of if you have not been living under a rock, and that's Penelope Douglas. Now, my caveat is that Pen's books are not always of equal spice. So Credence is, I think, one of her spicier books, if not the spiciest. It's also the most forbidden. If you love forbidden romances, I also have a vlog about those. This one is definitely high heat level. The premise is essentially that Tiernan is going to live with her step uncle and his sons, his 2 sons, in the middle of the woods in a cabin. What ensues is basically that she has shenanigans with all 3 of the men under that roof. It's not a wide choose romance because she does end up with only one of them in the end. And if you know me at all, you'll know that I didn't really enjoy who she ended up with in the end. I wanted her to be with someone else, but it was still a highly enjoyable read. Super forbidden. Again, this is like, I think, top level forbidden. So if that's not your cup of tea, don't pick it up, but it has high heat, some really great sex scenes that are also very creative. If you also want to try another few of Pen's books that are spicy, I would try the Devil's Night series. There's kind of a shtick that she has in every single book where there's a sharing scene. And the first one in Corrupt is in a sauna, which is really good. So Credence and Penelope Douglas, she has some really high heat books, although not all of them. Like Birthday Girl is often recommended, which I do not recommend because I think it's kind of entry level forbidden and it's not that spicy. But this one is. Another duo, the book, the series, and the author, Nikki Sloan. Now, Nikki Sloan, I don't see that much around like BookTube or a book talk, and she writes some amazing spice. And I actually talked to her once about how she gets in the mood to write spice, and she like does research before a sex scene so that she's a little bit fired up to write it. And I think you can tell in her books because they are top tier spice. The Nashville Neighbor series is also really good, high heat, but this was actually the last book in the Filthy Rich Americans. The whole series is amazing and spicy, but this one is my favorite because it's a redemption arc. Obviously it's called The Redemption, and it's a high age gap, which you guys know I love an age gap. So basically this man, McAllister Hale, has been the villain essentially of the prior books in the series, and it's his turn to fall in love, and it is a wild, spicy ride. So this whole series, The Filthy Rich Americans, I highly recommend. Obviously start at book 1. You can read this one as a standalone, but all of them are really spicy. And I'm telling you, Nikki writes such great sex scenes, and she also has a real deft hand with dealing with like power dynamics. If you like that sort of thing in your spicy love scenes, then again, highly recommend Nikki Sloan. Another woman that has great spice and just great books is Jodie Ellen Malpass. Jodie Ellen Malpass is definitely known for her hate scene. She's one of the OG erotic romance novelist. My favorite book boyfriends by her is Jesse, who's amazing and very over the top possessive, but I think this is a really dip their toe into Jodie to get some spice. So basically the premise of One Night Promised is that there's this woman, Livy, who is working in a coffee shop, and one day this like beautiful man comes in and basically propositions her on a napkin and signs his name as M. She doesn't have any idea who this mystery man is, but she does agree to a kind of no strings attached sexual affair with him. And it's really great because there's her sexual awakening. He takes her through his paces, and there's this whole mystery about who he is, especially as they obviously form an emotional connection throughout their sexual exploration. Really great. It's a duet and I love it. Jodie writes great spice. All of her books are spicy. She also has a mafia series if you like that sort of thing, but all of her books are like equal spice. Another book that I want to recommend is The Arrogant One by Marne Man, which just came out recently. And Marne Man is like that queen of spice. She gives hard spice every single time, every single book. It's kind of like her cachet. If you like a high heat book and a really fun romp, I would definitely recommend Marne. She writes about CEOs, high-powered businessmen, basically billionaires. So if you like billionaire romance with high heat, Marne Man is your go-to girl. Someone else that I don't see mentioned too much but is an OG favorite of mine is Qie Webster. Qie Webster writes so many different kinds of books. She's prolific. She's written like, it's got to be 200 novels at this point, and I've read a lot of them and they're all so fun and so hot. This one is really fun because it's actually a reverse age gap. She is older and he is younger. Her younger next door neighbor starts to tend to her garden, mow her lawn, and they begin a flirtation and a sexual relationship, and then who enters the picture but his twin brother. So there's kind of an MFM situation, again forbidden because it's twin brothers and an older woman, but guys, this one, it's short but so good. Honestly, it's amazing. Highly recommend anything by her. She definitely has some super taboo forbidden books, and then she has things like this that are like, it's forbidden but it's kind of for everyone that looks at forbidden. So this is a good entry point for Qie Webster, but she has so many books. Once you start, you won't want to stop, and she will keep you fed forever because she has so many books. Speaking of MMF, let's take it up a notch and go MMF, which means that everyone has sex with everyone. There's 2 men and 1 woman, and they all do the deed together. This is obviously The Moon and His Tides by yours truly, Janna Darling, and it is a very spicy MMF romance set in London. Basically, the premise is that this 19-year-old chauffeur is driving for a luxury car company when he starts driving for a woman named Savannah Myers. Savannah Myers is his childhood idol's wife, as in the actor that he's looked up to for years is Adam Myers and his wife is Savannah Myers. He starts a flirtation with Savannah, who happens to be much older than him as well, so it's a reverse age gap, and even though she's married, they begin to have kind of a naughty little tryst. One night, Sebastian is performing in a play when he notices her husband, Adam Myers, in the audience, and he's terrified that this man, his idol, is going to call him out and fight him basically for Savannah's honor. Instead, Adam begins a flirtation with him and suggests that he join them in the car in the back alley where they have their first encounter as a threesome. I'm telling you guys, this is probably one of the spiciest books that I've ever written. If you love MMF, if you love high heat, this is your book. There's some shades of BDSM. Adam is the dom, and they both just worship Savannah. So if you like that dynamic, I highly recommend checking it out. The next book in this series, The Sun and Her Burn, comes out June 26th. Okay, I recently read this book by Ali Hazelwood, Deep End. Ali Hazelwood is not known for her spice. She actually started out with YA romances, clean romances, closed door romances, whatever you want to call them. And this is her first foray into high spice romance, and she did a phenomenal job. Basically, it's about Lucas and Scarlett, who are both on the swim team for their university. I think it's Stanford, but they both are on their university swim team, and they basically enter into a secret relationship because Lucas dated one of her swim team peers. So they keep it on the hush hush, but they basically have a sexual exploration agreement where Lucas and she both get to explore their desire to try BDSM elements. And it is so hot. It's a college romance, but high heat, which you don't find in a ton of college romances, and it is so well done. I will say that I think that their sexual dynamic is definitely the forefront of the romance. They're basically, without any spoilers, I think that's kind of the backbone of this story. But if you like high heat, I think that this is excellent. I thoroughly enjoyed it and was turned on a lot reading it and needed to have some alone time with my husband afterwards. So highly recommend Deep End, which also I will say was originally called Wet. That gives you any indication of how hot this book is. Wouldn't really be a Giana Darling recommendation video if I didn't recommend at least one MM book. So here we go. I am recommending Want Me by Neve Wilder. This whole series is amazing, but this is book 1 and it is so hot. I still remember where I was the first time that I read this book. It is a college romance, again, between 2 men who believe that they are straight, so it's double bisexual awakening. They are roommates and they basically get a little bit too close one night and cannot stop hooking up, which I love. It is so good. If you like this one too, Do You Dare by Chelsea Ricky, C.E. Ricky, is also absolutely amazing and has a similar premise. They dare each other to kiss and then it goes from there. So those 2 books are really, really great if you want a college romance with high heat. Neve Wilder, I'm obsessed with, and this whole series is so good. She has enemies to lovers in it. She has a professor student in it. So I'm actually gonna reread this, it's so good. Okay, next up we have Sugar Daddies by Jade West. Jade West is a spice queen. She basically only writes really, really high heat, top tier spice books. Sugar Daddies is, and forever will be, my favorite because it's MMF, you guessed it, one of my favorites, with an established couple of 2 men who basically put out like an ad to be sugar daddies for a woman. And this young woman answers the ad because she needs money and basically ends up having a very, very sexy relationship with Rick and Carl. This book is so hot, you guys. You won't want to read it in public because it's honestly like you need to fan yourself basically from the get-go. You can even tell by the cover, which is also one of the hottest covers I've ever seen. She is amazing. Honestly, every single book that I've read by her is so hot and like really interesting. She has lots of different kinks that she explores. There's BDSM, there's sharing, there's water sports, not in this, but in a lot of her other ones. So she kind of has something for everyone in erotic romance, but I would suggest this one first because it is so good. Last but not least, I cannot talk about spicy romance without talking about Qie Tyler, who does spice with forbidden absolutely excellently. This is her latest release, The Nanny is Off Limits, which is super hot because of course it's forbidden. It is a older man, Rowan, who's a single dad with 3 children, who starts hooking up with his much younger nanny. This book, if you love like sneaking around and forbidden, is so good. Also, I'm so excited for her next book, which is The Cheerleader is Off Limits, which is with the brother of this main character. So Rowan is in this book and his brother is River. And he's a tatted football coach who ends up with a cheerleader. So honestly, QB writes excellent spice. This one is actually quite emotional because he's a widower, but her books are typically really fun, really great, easy read, and so delicious. Like, this girl knows how to write erotic romance and she does it superbly. So this one was also on my books I read in March and was a 5-star read. So highly recommend this or any book in Qie Tyler's backlist because they're all high heat and excellent. Anyway, for all of you horny readers out there, that is all the books that I have to recommend today. But let me know what some of your top tier spicy romance are in the comments because I'm always looking for some erotic romance. Let me know what you think about the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next week for more.